Firstly, yeah, subscribe.
Yeah, man.
Subscribe.
I like that.
Some of you lot have been here for a minute and just waiting for the algorithms to do its thing because you're here regularly. Yeah, because you're here regularly, when we do pop up and you go into your YouTube and that, you just see us in it. But don't do it like that. Just subscribe in it. And while you're doing that, you might as well do the notification bell thing as well. Might as well. We're going through some changes at the moment. And it's going to look glorious. I'm telling you. But you might as well be on the journey with us. Subscribe.
I'm not giving them to you.
Why?
I'm giving them to East Africa.
Oh.
You're part of the team, my brother.
Oh, man. Appreciate that.
Come on.
Go.
They're not even out. They're not even available no more.
Yeah, they're
I
not.
wanted to try buy them one time.
Did
Time
you?
ago, when they first came out and it was sold out.
This is life. These
that's
socks
crazy.
is kind of like the woman that met Chuckie that night. They've gone to a better place because of the right person.
I appreciate that.
That was a terrible comparison, but just ignore it. See the voice? The voice made it sound epic. What? Yeah, come
They're
on,
really,
fam.
they're
Now
really
you got
good
the
socks,
socks.
though. They're really, really good.
Come on, you're my brother, man.
Why did you lot not do more of that brand of sock? Pass me just so people can see.
So, just to get some clarity, so everyone knows what we're speaking about, myself and J2K, the Jeen-Yus, he's got a brand called Home, which actually is now managing Vibar, and I had Vibar, and that's yours. We brought it together, we done a collab together, to hold an event. And the whole event was socks and sliders. You come down to our party, we give you socks, we give you sliders, and you just start behaving and everyone's got the same footwear. And the party was vibes, it was a good environment, loads of people were there. It was just like for our friends, obviously. And then off the back of it, we sold the socks. And yeah, it went good for as long as it was happening. It was really enjoyable.
I hear that. Moments in time, I like that. Creating moments and creating experiences, wicked.
And it was such a good moment that we can come back to it. Like the campaign was sick. We had like Ian Wright part of it, ZZ Mills, Mitch, Harry Pinero. It was lit, man. It was really, really lit. It was nice as well because at the time, Ian Wright, God bless his soul, he's always been massive, and just to get that many people connecting, doing a campaign with Ian Wright, and it coming from myself and J2K, it was just so sick just to have him a part of it. The photographer was part of Vibar, Kanye, like it was proper in-house. So to keep replicating their moments is quite difficult because it's a lot of time, a lot of money.
I hear that still. Honorable shout out to J2K as well.
Always.
Every time.
Oh, sorry if I'm a bit lagging today, by the way.
No, you're not, man. Please tell me you watched the Kanye thing.
I haven't watched it yet, bro. I was watching it tonight, man. I was watching it on Friday. The thing is, I know how I want to watch that.
Yeah.
I know how I want to watch it. In the midst of the noise, I can't watch it. I just need to this Friday, where everyone's it's today.
Yeah.
Sit down, watch it, chill out.
I can't lie, that was a big part of what I was going to talk about today.
But you can talk about it though. I know a lot about Kanye still.
What is it that we pretty much like?
Well, no, there was just the angles, yeah. So I won't, I'll talk about it, but regardless of what I say, it's not spoiling anything because you know a lot about Kanye.
So much.
I think it was just like having a beneath the surface conversation about things that you saw in it, and also about Kanye. But the first thing I wanted to say was a big, massive, honourable shout out to Kudi Simmons, the guy behind the camera. Have you seen it? Yeah. Oh my God. He basically
documented everything.
They were from the same
bro.
ends or whatever. And you know what? It's like, big up to all the videographers and the photographers, yeah. Like, some of you lot are actually unsung heroes, you know?
Yeah.
Because capturing those stills and the visual elements or whatnot, at the time might not seem as much, but later on down the line it's like one of the most important things in regards to documenting history. Do you get what I'm saying? Seeing is believing. I can tell you about it, and it was good that I experienced it, and experiencing it is even better depending on what it actually is. But see, when I show it to you, right, look at that happened in a certain period of time or whatnot. Like, I took my camera out and I did this, or I took a picture of that. It's like those things become certain moments of that become so significant to, you know, how we see things in the, like, looking back. Look at some of the Muhammad Ali stuff. You know, you got like the famous picture of him, you know, that like
you got the arm like that, man. Come on,
right? You see like loads of Martin Luther King, pictures and stuff like that, like all the visuals, the Malcolm X stuff, going all the way back to like some of the musical elements, the Marvin Gaye and that. Like people just like at those times, we're going further back. It's like people just didn't have cameras like that. You either had to have a piece of money or you had to save up a lot to be able to get that. Do you know what I mean? But for Coodie to say, you know what, there's something about this brother. Bearing in mind, he's a comedian. He's got his own career. He's doing his own thing. He's in front of the camera, in fact. Coodie was in front of the camera doing his thing. It's my brother's doing this music thing now, and like,
I like it.
Yeah, like I think they met at like some party or something like that, and was like, you know what? Nah, can I just follow you? Let me just follow you. And to see all of those moments like pan out, and we've seen some of them already anyway, some of them already been out or whatnot. I just think that was the first thing I thought that was just so sick to me.
It's very rare to find people like that as well. Shout out to a guy called Price.
Yeah.
He was a big part of why me and Vuj stayed at Copenhagen.
Really?
Because what he did was, because sometimes, you know, like, the guy that followed Kanye around, people will think, they will watch that sometimes, and if you're not a part of what's happening and you're an outsider, you will look at it as a generic method and a way and a strategy of saying, this is how I can become part of someone's story.
Right.
I want people to watch that and understand you're either in the story or you're not. So that guy who documented what he documented for Kanye West, he didn't watch Kanye West from somewhere and go, I can't wait to meet you to document you. He was part of the story.
Right.
And in being part of the story, he found his position and his role within that story naturally and organically.
Right.
Everybody has that opportunity within whatever they're doing.
Uh-huh.
And I don't want people to watch that and take it out of context for what it is. Because within your natural environment, there will be something that you can connect with to create your own story. You don't have to externalize, and if you understand where I'm coming from.
100.
So that's why I proper rate Kanye West and the people he has in and around him, because I haven't watched the whole the documentary, sorry, but I know a lot from Kanye West. And one thing people always say is he is a carrier, bro. Like if he's fucking with you, he's rolling with you. And then what? You rolling with, you know him? We're fuck. Like he's that type of brother.
100.
Proper that type of brother. So
yeah, man.
I love.
Now,
Kanye,
you could ask
man.
some questions, if anything, anyway. But there's like one.
So
of
what
the,
year did they meet? Sorry, what year did they meet?
They must have met in was it like early 2000s? Yeah, like probably must have been 2000. It must have been either like around 1999, 2000, because this was before he was producing for Jay, I believe. And that Blueprint album came out in 2001.
Yeah.
So it was all in around that time.
Jesus.
Now some of it there's elements of that you don't see. Like you don't see, which I think would have been sick but I mean Jay probably wouldn't have had cameras in a studio like that, but you don't see, that process. And that would have been interesting because Kanye produced The Takeover. Do you know what I mean? And at that time, with Jay going at Mobb Deep and Nas and all of that type of thing, that's the second song on the Blueprint. You know what I mean? He's saying all kinds of stuff, and we all know how that ended up turning out. Nas came out, did a mat. It was just that's a big thing.
Battle in New York's part of history, bro.
Yeah, of course. And like, you know what? You even listen to, when you listen to like Kanye's beats as instrumentals, yeah.
Woo!
Some of them just cut so different.
Bro,
you know that.
You know when you're in a particular mood as well. Like he is I love how he makes music. He proper embodies. It's almost like he goes into method acting, and he just goes, if this is the person I am for this project, I'm gonna embody it on social media. I'm gonna do it everywhere.
Yeah.
So then it's like he can't avoid the energy from that character, and then he uses that energy to create a sonical experience.
Right.
So like even the 808 Heartbreak, where he didn't even rap one verse on that whole project, like I'm like, rah, there was so much going on in your life, and you was able to find a way to create an album about that and stay sane to a certain extent. Right. Like Kanye West should have gone really mentally insane time ago, because he's like what I feel like the Joker did for his role in Batman. I feel like Kanye West does that for every single fucking album.
Yeah.
Like he's mad.
Do you know what though? Is when you watch it, when you look at it deep as well, that, and we have to go back to the time, and this is the thing that I'm gonna sort of mention as well, is like when you watch musical moments with the view of hindsight, so now we've seen a lot of things play out or whatnot, yeah. But like at that time, his style of production flirted between the lines of like the backpacking stuff and like the like the lyrical spill rappers kind of vibe, but also the street kind of stuff. Do you get what I'm saying?
100.
So on one side, you'll see him with Talib Kweli.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You'll see him with Consequence and all of them, man.
Yeah.
But then on the other side, he's doing stuff with Cameron.
Yeah,
he's doing stuff with Jay. Like, you get what I'm saying? It's like flirting the lines between those two, because it's almost like he's found his sound. He's sticking with that. Do you get what I'm saying? And it works on both sides. It stays in its culture, but it works on both sides. Now,
big shout out to Dame for that though, because Dame, he was like an advocate for Kanye West.
Massive.
Like Dame Dash was really putting, like, I don't know how true this is, but I remember reading it like in Source magazines afterwards, I think, like around the time anyway when they were just finding Kanye West, because I was mad excited about this stuff. Like Jay wasn't really even on, like, you know, that whole chain thing. Like, I don't know how true it is, but Jay wasn't even on giving him the chain.
yeah,
like,
I think Dame said that.
Dame gave Kanye his chain,
Yeah.
and from my understanding, Kanye should still have that chain. Dame took off his Rockefeller chain and gave it to him to make him feel part of the family.
Well,
you know what I'm
that's
saying?
why Dame took it so personally when Dame and Jay had the split
I
and the
remember.
people was taking sides. He took it personal that Kanye sided with Jay, because it's like, raw, like Jay wasn't really fucking with you too hard like that. Like, yeah, he liked your beats and that. Thought he was an okay rapper. Yeah, you know, what is it? I think Kanye's on one song called "Point Out the Bounce" or something.
No,
like
the
that.
bounce. It's the
Yeah.
worst verse ever.
Is it? Yeah.
Ever.
I
Can I
think
have the
that-
bounce?
yeah.
I turn the H to
I
a
think
L.
the whole tune is trash though.
Terrible.
It's trash, bro. That tune's
Call me a
shit.
rockstar, girl. Call me rockstar.
Yeah, they're trying to do too much.
It was terrible.
Yeah,
Oh,
the beat, that's a Timbaland beat as well. It's horrid. It's horrid.
I see MTV. They know who you are.
Yeah.
I did take over. Do you got beef with Nas? I did take over the game. Brought back his soul. I hated that song. I don't know why I know the bars.
But what people are doing now is, yeah, they're watching the doc
Yeah.
through the lens of hindsight, yeah. So there's moments now where you see Kanye in the Rockefeller building,
Oh my god, I've seen all of those clips.
and
That is
he's playing,
mad.
and he's playing
All Falls Down. Oh.
And so everyone's saying, "Yo," but did you see the context that Wayno added to that? Wayno's he was working at Rockefeller at the time. He was
No,
like vice president or some shit. Not vice. He was VP of fucking A&R or some shit. Yeah. He was basically saying that that wasn't the first time Kanye had come there and played that. Like, Kanye did that like 10, 15 times, like just walking around playing the song, and all, like, he just had this camera guy with him. So it was like, at what point, like, there's gonna be a point where it's like, man are just not visually excited to hear it so much anymore, because he just constantly is doing that anyway. But this is the thing. What I mean by the hindsight thing is, yeah, is that we know now how big that song ended up being. But let's go back to the time, Poe, yeah? Going into Rockefeller and playing that, it wouldn't have surprised me if that was the first time he was playing that and the reaction wasn't major. Do you know why? Because at that time,
That's not the vibe.
it was about smoke. There's a part where, remember, he goes to see DJ Clue, yeah? DJ Clue wants some beats from him or whatever. The main thing that Clue says to him is, because Kanye says to him, "What is it that you want?" He says, "I just want the hard street shit." Because remember, mixtapes and that, and
Who
all of
said
this
that
stuff
to him?
was going, huh?
Clue.
Yeah, Clue said that to him.
DJ
He said-
Clue?
Yeah. They're into the studio and Clue's like, "I just want the hard street shit. Just give me that." Because at that point, that's what everyone wanted. That's what, like, of course there was a fan base of people that would have been down for hearing that, of course, and we know that because look at what ended up happening in life anyway.
Yeah.
But at that time, when you add the cultural context to that, musically, man just wanted to hear the smoke.
Jay-Z just dropped, what album did he just drop again? The Dynasty.
Yeah.
That was like 2000, he just dropped The Dynasty. Loso came like 2001. Yeah, it was actually all street shit.
It was all street shit.
It was actually,
and even when it was
shit.
even when it was gal stuff. Yeah. So see, like Fabulous did very well with like
the girl
flirting the lines between doing the street shit and then doing stuff for the gal. The production style was still a certain way. Kanye's production style was different. He's talking about Jesus and black this and whatever. Like to them, it's like you're a cool guy. You're still a bit Talib Kweli-ish. You're still a bit Mos Def-ish. But you're still, because you got beats and that. So you're still hard. But there was always that though. There was always, and there still always has been. It's that style of like, it's like even when you compare it to this here, you've got like the rappers that are like very drilly. Do you get what I'm saying? Like they're just on super smoke. And then you've got other rappers that are a little bit more conscious. They might say, you know, like have a certain type of message in their music. The production style's mad different or whatnot. And you don't always get a lot of people that love both. Some people just side with one thing. And a lot of the time you'll find that people side with noise. You get me? So at that time, if the noise is what Jay's doing, what Cameron's doing, what all of these rappers and that are doing, this sounds a bit off. What do you mean like it all falls down with?
But this is where I say that sounds too I work in the building. Because Rockefeller's not meant to have that mentality. I understand a bigger label like a Sony or so and so forth, but Rockefeller's not meant to have that. And the reason why Rockefeller's not meant to have that is because irrespective of what the popular sound is, if you are really from the culture, so to speak, then you're meant to be aware of everything that's happening. And at that time, man can't act like Dipset weren't trying to climb up, and they were on some flyboy shit where everything was kind of rough, rugged. I don't care, man are wearing jackets that are big enough for everyone to wear at the same time, and just not looking fly. When Dipset used to wear these big jackets, they just looked fly. Everything was so fly about them. So I felt like Kanye being integrated into them, what Dame Dash tried to do, I guess, and linking him up with Cameron was the perfect segue to show them. But my point is, if you're in the streets or you're in the culture, you should know that that's about to happen. Do you understand? It was like 17 at the time. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's why Dame ultimately is a G.
He's a G, bro.
He did do that, but you also got to understand that, like, because what you're saying is completely right, wholeheartedly right, yeah. But also add the context to the fact that, like, that's what Rockefeller was already about, even with that style of music. Because that style of music, the street shit, still wasn't the acceptance stuff. The man still weren't getting deals like that, really. These were Rockefeller and Bad Boy and whoever else. All the other, I don't know what Bad Boy was doing at that time. Someone else would have to correct me. But like, let's just talk about Rockefeller. Yeah. At that point, they're already trying to kick down bare doors with man.
Yeah, they are.
He's already done that with a bit with Jay-Z now, because remember, like at the time they couldn't get stuff going with Jay. Like the same thing was happening. People were passing up on bare shit. You know, we kicked down some doors, boom, we've started our own company now, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring man through. So the mentality was still that. It's just that like this Don was extra different though. Because when I say the noise, yeah, I say noise to make it seem as though what these lot were doing was like, everything that they was doing was flying out of the gate. It wasn't. It was literally just, you know what? We got a bunch of rappers, we got a bunch of artists and whatever. These lot have been ostracized. Labels are not dealing with them properly, whatnot, and we're gonna push them through, and we're gonna make our own noise doing that. And they were successful in doing that. They just got a guy who's different, and maybe only one person, which is Dame, the figurehead, is the one who's seeing this guy and saying, you know what, nah, like we need to have him around because he is special though. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with him, but he is. Now the label head or the guy who's at the top, he can feel that way, or even an A&R can feel that way, but sometimes having the whole building feeling that way is a whole different thing. It's like working at a label now. If I sign you, I could sign you and I really believe in you.
Yeah.
We got a whole building here of people who may not necessarily see my vision, but I just know you have to stay around because you're sick. So you might play the music, these lot not necessarily getting it yet. All it takes is for one thing to happen and everyone starts to see it. And now you can see what's in my mind. Run with me now. Trust me.
But that's why I'm saying to you, I expect Sony to do that and Universal to do that and all of them people, because there's people in that label that day to day don't know what happens within that type of culture. They don't know. Their only experience of it is if Sancho scores and does a celebration, or if someone releases music or there's a new fashion line, that's their only way of understanding what's happening over there. So they're always going to be the last to know. But if you work at Rockefeller, same way if you work at Def Jam, I'm not expecting you to know at the adolescence or in early stages, but I'm expecting you to know before Universal and Sony. So with Kanye West from Chicago, obviously I wasn't there, so I don't know how prominent that type of lifestyle and culture was, but I definitely know when I saw Ralph Lauren with the Louis V, I was fucking with that. All my brothers in Izzy all wore Ralph Lauren. So instantly, without even this guy saying one word, we saw the Ralph Lauren and said, that's my brother.
Yeah.
He looks like someone that I can, because I wasn't really into that massive tracksuit shit. I just fucked with like the music, do you know where I'm coming from? But the way people dress and all that, I couldn't really get down with it. It's Kanye that I instantly went, whoa. But that audience of people, it was definitely here in England, so I don't see how it wouldn't have been there in the States, fam. So
no, but this is the thing. What I'm trying to say is, it was like the label still was doing what it was doing because he was there.
Yeah.
And Dame had him there for a reason.
Yeah.
And purely because of that. Now, some people will argue that maybe that wasn't the case. That was the case. He would not have been around if Dame did not have him around like that. He just wouldn't have been around. Yeah. And so the label was doing what it was. Well, the head of the label was doing what he was supposed to be doing in regards to making sure that whoever is ostracized but is good is around, and is making money and is making the right money is around. Dame was doing that. Maybe there's always been this conversation about how we ended up doing it and whatever it may be, his behavior and all these things. But pushing that aside, man was around. In the office though, I think that like when you've got certain people working in the office and whatnot, of course everyone has their preference. Like everyone's all trying to push this street shit because this is the stuff that's not like, you know what I mean? This is the cool shit and we're trying to get this over the line and whatnot. Like in hindsight now, with it blowing up, it is very easy for people to say, what? You passed up on this?
Very true.
It is so easy to do that.
Very true.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Very
because
true.
we're watching it knowing what it ended up doing.
Very true.
There's so many times where this, like, that happens all of the time, you know?
Yeah, it's very,
do you get
very,
what I'm
very
saying?
True. It happens all the time. At labels, I know some people that get dropped from so many deals and so on and so forth. That's why it's crazy. I just look at it, it's so crazy because for some strange reason, Chuckie, I don't know why, I don't even want to sound like some arrogant guy. I fucking get it so much.
Yeah.
Like so much, I swear to God. I understand it so much. I don't get how someone doesn't get it. I was saying to Chairman on the way here, Central C came on the radio and he was like, oh my God, this guy, doing his thing, blowing up. And I was like, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. Yeah. I don't watch commercial stuff. I'm not really I'm just not involved. I'm so involved in what I'm involved in. If you ask me something about it, I could tell you. If that makes any sense. Yeah. And I'm just like, when it comes to music and culture, I could still say actually, although you're right, in hindsight it's easy to say, how did you pass that? I still kind of go, yeah, but how did you pass that though? Yeah. Like, how did you? Surely you must have seen about 10, 15 youths looking like Kanye around. Dressing, speaking the way he does. You didn't think that there was an audience for that within your community. When your cousins are probably like Kanye. Yeah. It's just that, I understand the street stuff was popular, but I just feel like when it comes to markets and when it comes to business, you just got to identify a community of people that live and exist there and provide whatever for them. Not just keep providing for the community of people that are shouting the most.
But they did. That's what I'm saying.
Crazy,
but
bro.
They did. Because it came out.
Yeah. They did.
Do you get what I'm saying?
It's because of Dame though, man. It's
all Dame. And that is my point. And I think, do you ever watch the... this is probably a little bit... This is a different example, but on the flip side. Remember watching the Black Album documentary?
I was sick.
And like, there's like bare beats in there. Like Timberland's playing bare beats. In hindsight, you listen to some of these beats now, Ludacris had one of those beats.
He did.
And it's like, sometimes, of course, the beat didn't end up doing a complete madness. But sometimes you could look at that and be like, right, like how did you... Like Scarface, there's a part in the doc here with Scarface. Scarface, rappers will always say that is like one of their favorite rappers of all time.
Scarface.
He's not mine, but I could see why people would say that. And like a lot of people that I respect speak highly of this guy. Yeah.
So does Kanye.
Right. Kanye's gone to check him now. He's gone to the studio, whatnot, and he's played him Jesus Walks. After like 15, 20 seconds, he's like, yeah, turn that one off. Run me a next one. He's like, yeah, run me a next thing. So anyway, that's another one. But it's like, I get it because we all, in hindsight now, we look at what Jesus Walks ended up doing, and some people could turn around and say, how did you pass up on that? This shit happens all of the time.
But Scarface,
and can I be honest with you? I'm glad that he did pass up on that one. To be fair.
because exactly, Scarface I can understand.
Yeah.
Labels I understand, but I just don't agree. But an individual, cool, Scarface can't. He got no business with that over there. From what I used to hear from Scarface.
Yeah, but then he played him like, he rapped him family business. He played him a bunch of different stuff, and he seemed like, he just seemed, oh, it's alright. It's cool. Like, it's cool. But the thing is, again, hindsight's a wonderful thing, innit? We can all turn around and look at what it ended up doing, and it's just a complete madness here. And he'll probably go to interviews and say, oh, you know I was supposed to be on this rhythm. I was supposed, because artists do that. They love that. They love that one.
I love that one.
Right. But
supposed to do that, you know?
be honest though, I'm sure a lot of artists will turn around and say, you know what, like, such and such played me such and such, and at the time I just didn't even really see it. Like, I just didn't see it. But you know, God works in certain types of ways. You just wasn't supposed to be on it anyway. Maybe you just wasn't supposed to get that. Do you know what I mean? It might not have slapped with you on it anyway. How about that? It might not have.
And our Soulja Boy, it might not have come out anyway.
Exactly. But so, I think it is like, it is interesting, and you'll get this vibe when you actually watch it. With the hindsight that we have and knowing what it ended up doing, it's so sick watching it in its early stages and sort of seeing the different versions of reactions to stuff, because there's a time that's going on. It hasn't done what it's done yet, and it's a new thing. And you know what? I've even done, like, my friend works in music and that, and there's been times when my brethren's come to me and be like, yeah, listen to this tune or whatever, and I'm just like, yeah, it sounds alright. Then my man's fucking put the song out, and then like, there's like moments, there's parts in the song where I'm like, oh shit, like I never knew that part would connect so much. Do you get what I'm saying? He's just heard and seen something completely different. But at the time, if you played it to me, yeah, it's cool. It sounds cool, but it looks sick visually when you watch it. Do you understand what I'm
100%.
saying? The relationship between him and his mum, amazing, man.
Incredible, bro.
Amazing. The cadence in her voice. The cadence in her voice, man.
Do you know what breaks my heart? Because this is what's crazy. When the more that you're speaking about it, I realize why I probably haven't gone to watch it. It's like, bro, I love Kanye West, you know. So like, if I didn't like him that much, maybe I would watch a documentary to find out more information. That be my entry point to him, I guess. But guys, when his mum passed, bro, do you know how hurt some of us were, bro?
Yeah.
We didn't even know this woman. Kanye West, bro. Sorry, as you were saying, I love that guy, man.
The relationship that he had with his mum was really nice to see. Do you know what I mean? And like, you could tell that his mum was a woman with a lot of quotables. You could see that, like, she said, you know, like there was one thing that she said to him. I can't even remember exactly what the quotable was. But you know what I loved about it? She's talking to him and she gives him the quotable. And she just looks at him and he looks at her and they're just looking at each other because she's watching him deep in it. You know when someone, you know, like when someone gives you a line or something, you watch them.
Careful how you said that.
Yeah, of course.
But carry on.
But someone gives you a quotable, they tell you something, and it's like the words go into your brain, but then a few seconds later you're like, oh yeah,
it processes.
Right.
It was loading.
Yeah, it was that. It was her doing that, them looking at each other, and that moment of, oh, I get you. That's not a camera thing. That's a mother and son thing. That's a genuine thing.
That's a bond.
Do you get what I'm saying? That's a different type of bond, bro. And I think even when you watch that and you see that level of belief that his mum had in him and the confidence that she had in him, you could see how that transferred into a superpower for him. And he took that and went outside with that confidence, as in, I'm practicing my Grammy speech. That's my thing. I'm practicing that. He says that. I'm practicing my Grammy speech. I'm like, there's times when I think about that. I'm practicing my Grammy speech. When you watch this with hindsight now, man saying that and these things happening, it just it's really, really interesting. But she also like lightly touches on like his confidence being mixed up with arrogance and stuff like that. And like,
I've seen that clip.
You know, You know, she mentions to him, you know, I see you buying all this jewelry and stuff like that. You ain't even bought yourself a house yet. Like, I'm worried about you. Yeah, man. It's like that was really nice to see. But I think, yeah, like the touching part was sort of just the way that she spoke and the cadence in her voice and like their relationship. It was really nice to see, man. Those bits of insight are things that I love. You know what I mean?
Oh, I need to watch it now, man.
Yeah,
I need to watch it, man.
It's proper good.
I need to watch it, man. Kanye West is someone I have so much respect for, and I love the fact that he done a marketing campaign of arguing with Skeet to promote this new documentary. Because I was looking at it, I was like, I just think he's an evil genius. He does all of that stuff, and you could particularly like think like some negative things about him. He drops the doc, and you go, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
It's like he builds an opinion. You build an opinion of him, and you change it.
Yeah, definitely. Do you know there was a next
hero.
part as well, yeah, where his mentor, Doug, who was a guy who taught him how to make beats and that, yeah. And I like this was an insight that I love to see because I do remember this, yeah. Kanye did an interview, bearing in mind all day he's praising this guy. He's praised Doug, he's praised like a few other producers and stuff like that, but he's praised this guy who's like his mentor or whatever from Chicago and whatnot, yeah. And I think that it wasn't published, or they didn't mention too much about the mentor guy, and they just used maybe the names that were a bit more popular at the time, yeah. Literally, as soon as that thing came out, the same day, the guy has made a diss record, yeah, and they're playing it on the radio, and
To Kanye.
Yeah. And I do, that's one thing I do remember, yeah. The insight on that was so sick to see because it's like, he's listening to the radio and he's hearing this diss record, bro, from a man that he loves. Like, he loves this guy, yeah. And so he's like got him on the phone or whatever, and they pull up on him, and like him and the guy's talking, and the guy's obviously just saying, look, like I felt like, you know what I mean, you're raising me from a part of history. Like I was there, I was this and whatever, and Kanye's saying, look, this is what I was doing. Like all day, like I was, you know what I mean, I was shouting you out, I was this, and like Kanye's standing there with his like hands in his pocket and he's looking down and he's upset, bro, because you know what, like, I love you, bro, and like, you didn't even call me. You know, like one of them ones, like, you didn't even call me and say to me, bro, I'm feeling some type of way. I'm feeling some type of way, so I can give you the context. I'm having to be in my car and listen to a man that I love dissing me like that, bro. Like, and they kind of, there's a part where they sort of go around the corner and they have a conversation. I think they air it out. But you know that genuine, like that look in his face, that sadness, bro. Like, it's not even I'm vexed and I'm angry or some street shit or whatever. Bro, you know, like, he's standing there and he's like, he's just looking down on the floor, bro. And my man's talking to him and it's like, that's quite a moment still. Because you realise in that, like, how much this person meant to him, yeah. And you know when you get a person who loves deep, like, I don't know if this is the case for him, but I'll admittedly tell you, I'm a man. When I feel things, I feel them deep. I feel them deep. I feel all different types of emotions. Strong. Yeah, strongly. I feel like lust strongly. Sometimes when my lust is like I'm in the deepest love ever in life, my bro.
But it's just that type of vibe.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah? But anger and sadness and that, I feel the same too. And it's like, seeing that from him, that was an interesting thing in itself. Go on.
I haven't watched it.
Yeah.
But just to ask you, do you feel like you enjoy the doc more so because you saw Kanye as a human, somebody you can relate to, instead of seeing him as, not necessarily that you do see him as this, but how he presents himself as this super celeb-y?
I don't think he does, you know. I think, do you know what? I think there's a massive misconception when it comes to Kanye, and I feel sorry for people like Kanye that are in front of camera, because the biggest problem is the person that turns on the TV, not the person on the TV.
No, I agree.
The people that turn on the TV have a perception of what they feel they should see, and because they pay TV license, they don't like it. Yeah. So the way in which you make him seem, I think that only exists because of people. It's so fucked. My dad said something. Because I have to defend Kanye. I don't like him with this.
I'm not attacking him at all. What I'm saying is, you know, what he says a lot of the time, people misconstrued it and turn it into whatever they want. Exactly what he says. So the stuff when he goes like, I am a god. Like when you read deeper into that, you understand he's not saying I am the second coming or whatever. He's not saying that. Like he's just saying I've empowered myself to an extent. Like I can do whatever I want to do because I can do it. I have the mindset to do it. That's why he's calling himself God. He's with a little G, not a big G God. You know what I'm saying? I understand that. What I'm saying is when somebody hears that stuff and then all of the other nonsense that comes on top of it, and then you see that part of Kanye looking down on the floor with emotions, crying.
No, he didn't cry.
Not cry, but you know what I mean.
So now you're trying to kill him? Nah, man, you're attacking Kanye, man.
No, I know what you're saying.
I'm joking.
I know what you're saying.
I'm on you.
I've got the answer still.
Got you,
The answer is, when you watch the documentary, you'll notice that he's not changed.
That's my brother.
Like, yes, he's got older and he's experienced things more. He's experienced certain things and he's seen some other stuff. Do you get what I'm saying? But like, you watch it and you realise this whole idea of the like new Kanye and old Kanye is, you watch that gets debunked, bro. Wow. Like, honestly, it honestly does, because there's bare stuff that he's saying then that he's saying today. He just didn't elaborate on it so much then. Do you get what I'm saying? And let me tell you this, in fact,
Kanye's
it would have been safer for him to elaborate on it more back then.
100%. Less people listening.
Right.
Do you know, honestly,
do you know what?
Kanye's amazing, bro. I can't lie. Kanye is amazing.
I wonder if, the reason why he, I wonder if one of the reasons why people subconsciously have these, I shouldn't say subconsciously because obviously it is, people see what they see, but I wonder if like some of this comes off a kind of way purely down to some of the women of late that he dates. I wonder like how much of that becomes a part of how they view him and what he says as sense or nonsense. Does that make sense?
100 million %.
Do you think he's cancelable?
No, I don't think, but I don't like this
Anyone
cancel
that does
thing. I don't really.
The cancel thing, listen, whoever doesn't cater to their community can get cancelled. It's
Right.
that simple. If you do nothing for your community apart from go there for help, you'll get cancelled. But if you're consistently in your thing, it's impossible.
Yeah, I think that the women that he dates, when you put that into the pot with some of the things that he says, I think consciously and subconsciously that goes to like people just looking at him as, you know what? Like, what is he on, man? He's just a madman. Like, he's just a madman. I do feel like it contributes in some way. I actually need to think about it a lot more deeper in like how to elaborate more on that point. But I was thinking about that earlier on today.
It's because he proper fights for his people. And because he fights for his people, the person that turns on the television, when you hear someone's fighting for your people, you already now have a preconceived judgment of how you expect them to be looking, how you expect their girlfriend to be, how you expect them to live their life. You have all built all these expectations. So when you switch on your TV because you pay TV license and you got a nice TV and you don't get what you see, you feel the right to go, he shouldn't do this, he shouldn't do. The real problem exists within you. He's trying to empower you. If he's got an Armenian girlfriend whilst he's doing it, that's as much of a problem as it is for you. It's no one else's problem. It's your problem. So those are the problems that I think Kanye comes from. He comes with. It's just that the position he is and the way he looks, maybe you think he shouldn't be saying that. And because it looks like a little bit weird, you feel weird. So you say weird stuff, which I understand. I just don't agree with. I think Kanye West is incredible. Incredible.
He seems like he always tries to look for the good in people anyway. So regardless of whatever conceptions you have of the women that he dates, you know that he's found something in them that he likes, like something that is good within them, if that makes sense. Even if
I don't know about that. Sometimes
I'm
I
gonna also, by the way, you don't have a mic, by the way, bro. So you're gonna have to get a mic soon because
you're chatting too much, man. Just record, man.
But yeah, it's interesting. There's 3 parts, by the way. I don't know if you know that. Really? So there's only this part that I'm talking about is only 1 part. The other part comes out it will be out by the time this comes out, I think. But there's 3 parts.
You're still
of it.
chatting, big man. Give me the socks back, fam.
Yeah, there's 3 parts of it anyway. So the first part is like super early on bit, and I think it kind of gets him before he has the car accident and that.
Serious?
Yeah.
So when's the second one come
he's
out?
just in a part of like creating the album, and like you just see him in the studio. You see him in the studio a lot. You see like there's a part where it shows you like the bar that Ramfest wrote for him. It doesn't show it properly, but you just see him saying it, and then it kind of moves into Kanye saying it and whatnot. But it's like the process just looks really good, man. You got a bunch of people in there that just super believe in him.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and also at the same time, as much as that is going on, he's like, I think they even say it in the doc, he's almost like, in certain rooms, he's just like a regular, unfamiliar face at that point. Do you know what I mean? In one space, he's like, yeah, this sick new rapper, like, producer or whatever, who's opinionated, he's got a big personality or whatnot. And then you see him in these dynamics where, you know what I mean, all Rockefeller's around, Jay's there, whatever. Yeah, when he met Jay, exactly. Yeah. There's the part of course when he met Jay. It's mad. I bet Jay was mad arrogant back then, innit? You like to see that?
Of course he was. You hear the problems him and Cameron had. Jay-Z was. He's still arrogant now.
Nah, he's still arrogant now, for true. But it's good though. Like, watch it. There's bare different talking points on it, and I think the next time we sit and have a conversation about it, I reckon it should be once it's done. So once the second and third is over, then we can sort, because I think it's going to show a lot more things that we ain't seen and just a bit more insight into what was going on around that time. Let me ask you this, yeah?
I love Kanye.
If there was an artist from here, this country,
Yeah.
that you would like to have seen insight from, like this. So the way that, let's say another videographer, yeah, like a Kudi, was following this artist from the beginning all the way up to now, who would it be? Like, who would be the artist that you would like to see?
You know who?
Skepta.
Of course. Come on, man.
Yeah.
He just, to me, from where Skepta's come from, because it's from, same area I was born in, I have a bit of a loyalty to that. And on top of it, I can't lie, bro. His story is incredible, bro. What he's managed to achieve from Meridian Estate, bro. I've been to Meridian Estate. Like, for you to go from there to everything you're doing now is absolutely ridiculous in my head. When I actually really deep it and I think about it, guys from a council estate in Tottenham, cuz. This guy's a global star right now. He's global. He's been here forever. He every year is getting better, fine tuning. I realise now he's actually experimenting with a next sound and going in a sort of a next direction that, bro, this guy's incredible, fam. The amount of sounds he's played with, the times where I would have loved to have known what that period like from 2012 to 2016. What was his mentality shift within that type of period where things were very, very commercial, and he was always flirting with commercial, but he would always do something way better. No, he almost had like a similar style to Wiley, where we can go do commercial stuff, but I've got a million Tunnel Vision mixtapes coming out. So I really would love to have seen all of that. Really would have loved to have seen all of that, man.
Yeah, definitely.
When Puff Daddy came down, when Puff Daddy tweeted, who should I work with in the UK? Everyone sent him Skepta, then Puff Daddy came, and then they were all out, and then I never saw Puff Daddy again.
The camera moment that I would have liked to have seen is when everyone is saying work with Skepta. I mean, do something with Skepta. Where was he? Was he on this? Where was he that day?
Yeah, but that's the
insight. That's the insight that I like. Where was he? He was on the estate somewhere, probably on the bike, whatever it may be. He might have just. Where was he? What was he doing? What was going on that day? Do you get what I'm saying? Those moments.
And them moments there, bruv, like, imagine that genuine reaction of knowing, Poe, hold up. So I said, Poe, imagine Puff Daddy hit, bruv, I'll go gas. But imagine, like, just sitting down on a block and you just see his man filming you and you get a text on your phone and you're like, what do you mean Puff Daddy wants to do a collab? Like, that would have been a mad moment.
I want to see, though, the highs and the low parts and the difficult parts. There's a time, actually, where, see, when the sound was super commercial, and he was flirting in that as well. And he had the pre-Cleader stuff and whatnot. I remember one time I saw him somewhere, it was out somewhere far, like there was a whole bunch of us at, I think it was like some sort of tour. There's bare artists on it. And I'll be honest with you, bruv, he just looked unhappy. He just looked unhappy. He just did not look like he was happy. Now, I could be wrong in saying that, but that was just the vibe that I just got from him at that time.
But
maybe it could have been a music thing. Maybe it could have just been a bit more deeper than that. Maybe I could have just been reading it completely wrong. But you know what? Like, if not everything is for the camera, but if this could be for the camera, the insight I would like to know is what was going on around that time. Like, how did you actually really feel? Like, what were the conversations that were being had? What were the fights that you had to fight? Because the fact that there are artists that are being able to make so much money out of the game now, there was so many different fights that needed to be fought at a certain period of time for it to be like the way that it is now. Those are some of the things I like to see. Do you get what I'm saying?
100%.
Because you know what? What was that thing that Lethal B tweeted the other day? Was that, I don't know who needs to hear this, but yeah, it's like,
Gregor tweet.
Yeah, like, don't make money and start dissing grime. The guy that signed you and the person that's helping you right now busts from doing that.
You know what the truth is, Chucks? The reason why I say Skepta as well, and probably it would be Kano would be another individual I'd love to see. Gets would be another individual.
Sorry to interrupt you. You know one of the reasons why I like to see Kano as well? Kano's one is because there was a moment where in Kano's career it was super quiet differently though. Not like a quiet as in like a, you know, he takes a couple years off and then he comes back and you know he's got something to say. That's like being like the last maybe 5 years thing. But there was a different, when everything was going on, what was going on? Like, what was the fight then? Like, what was going on then?
Because those are the individuals, cuz those are the man. If it wasn't for them, man, none of this exists. None of this exists. When they started making that type of music, it gave people opportunities like shout out Cyan Anderson to start documenting it in different ways. Risky Roads.
Right.
These are the people that got their game on and started videoing stuff. People started getting their journalism on. So people started doing Rewind Forum and so many jobs and roles and things were birthed just from that alone. That still affects today.
Honourable shout out to
JP, the moment you have somebody that was an integral figure throughout it and that was all documented and they made like a Netflix special like for, you know, these American artists, people will start respecting grime a hell of a lot more.
100%.
Hell of a lot more. I'm not just
100%.
looking at it as like 140 BPM. Grime is a culture and what it birthed and what it still does today. Like I said, you see Skepta wearing, when you see me wearing them Skepta SK, you know, Nike trainers, that's grime, bro. That's 100% grime. If you see me one day hosting my own show on like a ITV, BBC One, I don't care what's going on, bro, it's grime. That's what birthed my ability to even have this job that I have now. So I'm a product from grime. So I don't like when people disrespect grime at all, fam. But who would you want to see though?
Yeah, I probably would have gone with the same. The other person that I thought about is someone that is not around today and only had a small period of, like a shorter period in the context of, you know, when you mention it side by side with Skepta, it's completely different. But like, I would have liked to have seen what was going on around a period of time for that person. Obviously, I would have liked that person to be around a lot more, but there's probably a reason for that, and that's why I would love to have seen it and love to see it. It's Miss Dynamite.
Miss Dynamite, oh, she is sensational.
Miss Dynamite. I would love to have seen what was happening with her around a time when she was doing all of like, she was doing her own thing, she was doing the So Solid stuff and whatnot, and then look at what ended up happening with her career. Like these are some of the things that we don't talk about, like her winning the Mercury Prize Award and stuff like that, and her creating this album that was like so important for like young black girls.
Blood.
Bro. Like, there wasn't an album like that. There wasn't an album like that.
Certainly not me.
There wasn't an album like that. And there wasn't much artists like that.
At
You
all,
had
bro.
Estelle. That was one. But I think like, I know she was about and she was doing her thing, but I think, wasn't her success after that? Her success was after that, right?
What do you mean?
I'll have to check
her
that.
project. The first
Estelle's.
project she done 1980, yeah, that God made.
Yeah, but
that project was nice. It was nice videos.
But Miss
when she
Dynamite's
done-
all that stuff happened before that.
What, Miss Dynamite?
Yeah.
Oh, Miss Dynamite happened before that. Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
right, yeah,
Miss,
that's just
listen, Miss Dynamite, she was divine litness. First of all, one of the best people I've ever met. When I was early on, I was doing That's a Rap. I had to interview her. She's literally one of the nicest people I've ever met in my bloody life, bro. She was like a cousin, like your older cousin that you just always wanted to be around. Like, she had that type of vibe even on camera, bro. She didn't make everything about. she didn't sexualize her image in any
No,
capacity.
not
She
at
wore
all.
like an Adidas tracksuit. Like it was. I've always liked those type of people that make it like you can be them for about £150.
Right.
I always love them artists because they're just really accessible. Do you know what I'm saying?
I get you.
Do you know where I'm coming from? I'm like, yeah, man can look like Miss Dynamite for £150. That is lit.
Yeah.
I think those are the artists that do well because they really speak into the people and the message within the music. I used to play FIFA and hear Miss Dynamite whilst I'm playing FIFA. Like, cuz Miss Dynamite was so lit.
Miss Dynamite was very, very lit, bro. Do you know what I'm gonna do?
She
Right
tried
now,
to do
son?
one album and bust out. I feel like, but she didn't. Obviously, she didn't do. She did more than that.
She did more than that, yeah. But,
But
it
that
was,
album-
it was like it was very Lauryn Hillish, innit?
Yeah, bro. You know what? Furthermore, I'm gonna put in a request for Miss Dynamite to come back.
Let me tell you something. I'm like, do you know what I'm manifesting this year?
Go on.
Having a conversation with her.
Oh, Miss Dynamite, Chuckie would love to have a conversation with you. I would love to be there to witness it. A convo with Chuckie, with an audience, 100 people. We can put it together, a convo with Chuckie. Chuckie sits down with Miss Dynamite. I think we should do it. There's some sponsors. Hello, how are you?
Why? Yeah, exactly. Why not? And just for some of you lot who might not know that album was called A Little Deeper, by the way.
A little deeper. What were some of the big tracks off there, though?
To the production.
Yeah, the xylophone or something like that. He was going like that. The video was dope, and she was on stage. Oh,
She had a song about a Carla brother.
that's what's so mad. Her brother's a Carla. Sometimes I forget.
Yeah, brother's a Carla, my bro. She was flipping.
But when Akala and them two were rolling around, when I first saw, Akala had shot a level 1, and he was out here.
He what's that again? Oh yes.
He had a level 1 and he was
yeah.
out here. Roll with us or get rolled over.
Ill State of Mind.
Come on.
Remember the
T-shirts they had in,
right.
and they had
Jamaican,
all right, yo,
colours, yeah,
old
yeah.
school brother.
Yeah, come on, man.
And one of them were in
I
the
saw a Carla the other day. Actually.
Oh,
I saw
is
a
it?
Carla at Snow Allegra.
Oh, he was there.
He was there.
Come on.
Anything else on that? How long have we got on there, by the way? East African.
48 minutes. On this one.
Oh right. Is there anything else on Kanye you wanna? Because we got to get these howlers in a bit.
Kanye, man, what a human. I have nothing else to say about Kanye. Just don't get on Kanye, people.
Alright, this is gonna be a whole next section, but I want to have a proper conversation about this, and it's still on Kanye. I tweeted this the other day. Now it's cool, it's calm. So obviously, you know, it seems as though Kanye is trying to get his missus back, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Right? And it made me think about this outside of Kanye. My advice, what we're going to have a conversation on, yeah, is that open, honest conversation about trying to get your ex back.